My name is Alex Jackson. I am from Charleston, South Carolina. I enjoy being outdoors and spending time with friends and family. I like to do photography, so I always like to have my camera around, snapping pictures of sunsets and flowers. My life before my injury was not very long. I was actually injured at the age of 9 months in a motor vehicle accident. My mom and I were coming back from visiting family in Augusta, Georgia. And that's when I acquired my spinal cord injury. For as long as I've known, I've been in a wheelchair, only having the use of my right arm, right hand to be able to do everything that I'm able to do. Early on, of course, my family could carry me around in a stroller or like hand carry me. And then as I got older, started using a manual wheelchair. And then at the age of 4, I was able to get my first power chair. And I've been using the power chair ever since to be able to get around. My parents' first thought was probably whether or not I'd survive, what were my chances of a healthy lifestyle, or what would I be able to accomplish physically and my longevity after injury. My mom always talks about whether or not I would have been angry as I got older with my disability, and would I be upset that I became injured. Like, I don't have any animosity or hate towards the accident or the injury itself. So I just sort of keep myself going as much as I can. But my family, my mom and dad, were very encouraging and supportive, and just made sure that I had what I needed, everything from healthcare to the wheelchairs and equipment. From the very beginning, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And if anything, I felt like I was doing just as much as anyone else was, if not more. I loved being out on the playground with my classmates and going on field trips and going through the woods with my power chair. And I figured out a way to make it happen. I think as children, we just want to have fun and enjoy each other's company. My classmates, when I was younger, would probably ask why I was in a chair, and I wouldn't mind explaining to them. But then they're like, okay, as long as you're good, we're good. I don't think I ever realized that I was in a wheelchair, disabled, or felt differently based on how my family treated me, how my friends treated me, until sort of later in life. I just realized, yeah, things are different. I'm going to have to advocate for myself a little bit more for the things I need, especially for like accommodations in the classroom once I was in school, in college, and not having to rely on my parents to figure those things out for me. But I had to do those things on my own. I believe some of the barriers I faced were some of the personal care needs that I have. So as I began working, I needed to figure out who I could get to help me with some of my bowel bladder needs. And so when I started my current job with the Department of Navy, one of the accommodations that they have for people with disabilities is providing attendant care services during your working hours. And so I was very appreciative that they could provide that service to be able to allow me to go to work full time and just provide a nurse who could assist me with those things. And then that person also helps me with getting my lunch throughout the day, or any other tasks that I may need help with setting up my laptop or going from building to building. I hope that more businesses, employers realize how important that is for people with disabilities to become employed and remain employed, is that if they have these accommodations, that they are going to be supportive members of any team. My biggest accomplishment is the ability to drive. I learned how to drive through the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. That has been the biggest source of freedom, to be able to take myself wherever I needed to go, to be able to take myself to work, to school, and to spend time with family and friends, and even just to travel whenever I have the time to do that. I know that paratransit and other sources of transportation are hard to come by, and there's such a need for that all over the country. But I want to be able to help encourage and advocate the communities, city leaders, and others who are making decisions to make sure that people with disabilities can get to where they need to go. I do work full time at the facility for the Department of Navy. I'm in the public affairs office and help with writing news stories and sending out press releases and just communicating on the work that our scientists and engineers do. Before the pandemic, I was in the office every day, Monday through Friday. I enjoyed being around all of my coworkers and folks in the office. However, since the pandemic, we are working from home 4 days a week, and then I'm in the office 1 day a week still. The attendant that I mentioned earlier meets me in the office on the days I'm in the office, and then that person comes to my house as well when I'm working from home. I currently live at home with my mom. She has been my primary caregiver for my entire life, essentially, but want to step out and do more on my own, living on my own, and just become more independent. To be able to live on my own, I would need to make sure that I had the attendant care that I need every day. As of right now, at home, I have an attendant coming in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then my mom does the rest of the care on evenings and weekends. So if I were to live on my own, I would definitely need the attendant services. As of right now, insurance does not pay for any of that. I'm paying out of pocket for it all. So that is a major concern. And then, of course, all of the other expenses that come along with living on your own, rent, or if I want to buy a house, the supplies and the other expenses that come along with living with a spinal cord injury. That takes planning and putting in work, and I'm willing to do that to make it happen. I got involved in photography when I was in college. My background is in broadcast journalism and media studies from the College of Charleston. One of the classes that I took was photography for the newspaper, and from there I was able to get a nice DSLR camera that I can mount to my wheelchair. I have a tripod mount that fits under the cushion of my chair, and I can roll around taking pictures and video. Even at one point I was doing some events and trying to make that like a side job, but it just wasn't as fulfilling. So I'm now sticking more to the nature. I'm not a big fan of wanting to walk again. I'm so used to being in a chair. This is all I remember. So I don't really want to have to learn how to walk. I feel like I can do a lot more faster when I'm in the chair than standing up. I would recommend to any newly injured person and their family members is that just take it one moment at a time. I know there are going to be days that are really difficult and challenging, but with that, you'll be able to grow and be able to gain some abilities and movement. Get the support of someone in the community that may have a similar disability. Connect with the South Carolina Spinal Cord Injury Association. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to just figure out how to do things. Each disability is different. There are going to be things that happen maybe sooner for one person than another, but don't give up on those times when it feels like it's taking a little bit longer to accomplish something. Someone will see me struggling, try to like open a bottle or trying to open a door or something like that. So I always want people to ask for help before just jumping right in to help me do something. I kind of want that struggle to see what I can do to make it easier for myself. And so don't feel intimidated by trying to do something that may look different or awkward. Just don't get hurt trying to do it, but put yourself out there to try to figure out what you can do. That's how you learn and how you sort of adapt to various situations.